Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you about why we should make vaccines mandatory in the United States. So the first thing I want to talk about is the safety of vaccines, because this is a concern for a lot of people and why they don't get vaccines in the first place. So what vaccines are made of is they contain inactive parts of a particular disease or organism, and then when they're injected into the body, it triggers an immune response where the body creates antibodies against the agent. The vaccine will not cause the person to get sick with the disease in the vaccine, but instead it helps their immune system to react as if they had gotten sick. And this information comes from the World Health Organization. The reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people have concerns with vaccines like the flu shot, and they believe that the influenza vaccine actually gives them influenza, but this is not the case, and some of those symptoms that they are feeling are actually just side effects of the vaccine, and it's just part of the body's natural response to creating an immunity. Other things to consider is the different regulations that vaccines have and the safety processes that they go through. So before anyone ever receives a vaccine or it's put on the market, it goes through extensive testing and trials that ensure its safety. The FDA is the organization that oversees this process in the United States. Vaccines were created to prevent infectious diseases that were once a major threat to the health and well-being of people. Without vaccines, these diseases would still pose a significant threat to us today. And if we stop getting vaccines, they will become a threat once again. What's the harm of not getting vaccinated? In recent years, there's been an uptick in measles cases across the U.S., and this is a result of people not getting vaccinated. Measles is a disease that does not have to be an issue for this country if everyone would get vaccinated, but since some have decided not to get vaccinated, we've seen an uptick in cases. Those who refuse vaccines willingly put vulnerable populations at risk who are unable to receive vaccines due to various reasons. One example being someone who is immunocompromised. Someone could be immunocompromised for various reasons, one of those being if they are a cancer patient or they have some sort of a condition where they have to take immunosuppressant medications. They're not always able to get vaccines because some vaccines do contain a portion of, they're called a live vaccine, where they contain a live part of an organism. Those who do not get vaccinated out of choice can contract these communicable diseases and pass them on to those who cannot get vaccinated, and these diseases could easily cost the immunocompromised person their life. So the reason why vaccines should be mandatory, one of them is that many argue that making vaccines mandatory is a violation of somebody's constitutional rights. But the reality is that vaccines are already somewhat mandatory. Children, before they attend school, have a list of vaccines that they have to get. And if they do not receive those vaccines, they have to provide a reason why they're not receiving the vaccine, whether that be medical, religious, or whatever other reasons they might have. College students also have vaccines that they're required to get. One of them, I believe, is the meningitis vaccine. And this is important because just this past year, there was an uptick in meningitis cases at USI on their campus because college students hadn't gotten the meningitis vaccine like they were supposed to. And there were several cases that ended up being serious and caused students to end up being hospitalized. So unless one has a legitimate reason why they cannot receive a vaccine, then it's beneficial to not only the individual but those around them to get vaccinated, as I said before, because it protects those who are immunocompromised. So my stance on the issue is that I think that all vaccines have been proven to be safe and reliable and have gone through the proper testing by the FDA, they should be mandatory. If the individual is not immunocompromised or allergic to the vaccine itself, or does not have any other contraindications to getting vaccinated, then they should be getting vaccinated. Vaccines help protect each of us individually, as well as those we come in contact with. It prevents a rise in preventable communicable diseases, which helps the already overwhelmed healthcare system. Right now, more than ever, it's crucial for us as individual citizens to do what we can to stay healthy and to relieve some of the stress on our country's overwhelmed healthcare system. So, I know a lot of people this year have not gotten their flu shot still. And this is an issue because our healthcare system right now is extremely overwhelmed and hospitals are at maximum capacity. And the last thing that we need is for just people who are getting the flu to come in and need hospitalized for the flu, and take up hospital beds whenever that could have been prevented by getting the flu shot. The flu shot is not 100% each year because it does mutate each year, but it does help you to get less sick if you were to contract the flu after you've gotten your flu shot. And I think it's our duty as citizens to try and do what we can to relieve some of that pressure and stress that's on our healthcare system right now with everything going on with COVID. These are my references. They include the CDC, the New England Journal of Medicine, and the World Health Organization.